Welcome to Wildstar Weekly. I am the Orange Hatter, and this is a show where I talk about things in Wildstar. I know, the title was somewhat esoteric, and based on my fashion choices, though, it's clear I'm a man who really values subtlety. It's been over a week now, and to no surprise to absolutely anybody with a memory longer than that of a goldfish, it seems the issues plaguing Wildstar's rather rocky launch have been largely solved. And with the floodgates open, people are pouring into Nexus to take a bite of that sweet Wildstar pie. Now, I've been reading a lot of your comments throughout, and I can't get back to all of them, but it does seem like a lot of people are interested in seeing a level 50 primer, because it looks like a lot of you are getting there really stupid quickly. There's those of you who've been slamming back enough EXP flasks to cause some serious liver issues, and in your short week, you've powered through that leveling arc. I congratulate you. Welcome to the best part. There's an old adage in MMORPGs that says the game doesn't really begin until max level, and I don't know how true that really is, but it does mean that you can start taking part in some of the coolest parts of the game, from raids, world bosses, gear sets that make you look like you work for a Western-themed S&M club. Sorry, spellslingers. Well, this is when you hit Disc 3. Kefka's blown up the world, Eris is dead, something happens in Final Fantasy XII I don't care about that I didn't play, but to use a design and technical term, this is when
shit gets real.
Wildstar offers you a pretty huge buffet of interesting things to do once you hit level 50, and it really lets you go off the chain and do them. Now, I'm going to be talking mostly about PvE things here. Don't worry, PvP people. I'm going to be doing a specific video for you guys once I've done a little bit more people murdering in-game. Don't worry, I haven't forgot about you murderous bastards. The first and most obvious place to go after hitting level 50 are dailies, to be honest with you. There are a lot of daily quest hubs in Wildstar, from the Crimson Badlands to the Northern Waste to Starcom Basin. Basically just a bunch of the starting zones with slightly more ominous names. There's also Blighthaven and the Defile, two level 50 specific zones that sport some interesting events, such as the Fail Tree or Lightspire, which can get you some really cool stuff. On top of those, there's a bunch of world bosses out there that require some progenitor access particles to deal with. You get these, you activate, you summon the world boss, you kick his ass with a bunch of people. This is a good time. But one of my favorite things to do once you hit level 50 comes in the form of contracts. Contracts, though, provide some pretty sweet benefits. They're a set of side objectives you can pick up to complete that refresh daily. Contracts can be anything from murdering some mildly unhelpful and generally irritating sentient alien species to completing challenges in dungeons to world bosses, even PvP. Doing contracts earns you your usual pile of money, renown, glory, prestige, but also nets you some contract points. Get enough contract points and you get even more stuff. The harder the contract, the more points. The more points, the more stuff. The more stuff, well, that's really the goal of the materialistic culture we live in now, isn't it? So I've given you a lot of options you can do alone, but what happens if you have friends? I know this can be somewhat irritating, but somewhere during your travels you might have contracted friends, and you may be compelled to do things with them. Sadly, there is no cure for friendship, but treatment options like being a moody dick are available to help ease the symptoms. But sometimes you just need to team up with some people and beat the shit out of some unsuspecting dungeon inhabitants. Veteran expeditions are a safe bet, and adventures are probably fine as well with some basic level 50 gear. Dungeons you may want to get yourself decked out before you step into, maybe with a few pieces of renown gear or some crafted stuff before venturing too deep into those, especially the tough ones like Ultimate Proto games. But don't worry, veteran ship hands and veteran adventures both drop renown, which can be spent on new loot for your character to make them even more awesome. Veteran dungeons have the bonus caveat of dropping glory, which allows you to buy even better gear before you step into the mighty genetic archives. And everything you do earns you EP. From dailies to dungeons, everything you do gets you Elder Points, which then convert into Elder Gems at a certain amount. Basically like experience points. You have a cap every week, and after that EP turns into gold, so you're still getting good stuff from it. And Elder Gems can be spent on all sorts of frivolous crap, or some nice things, it really depends. In my opinion, though, Wildstar did end the game right, as everything kind of funnels into each other. Even though there's a lot of options from solo content to group experiences, all of it feels like you are pushing towards an eventual conquest of the big raids that Wildstar gives us. GA is just around the corner. Every daily you turn and every world boss you put in the intensive dick injury ward, every dungeon you liberate, is one step closer on the long road to the biggest and baddest badasses Nexus has to offer. So welcome to level 50. You've still got a ways to go, but know every step you take is a step in the right direction. There's no bad ideas. Do what you find fun. Dungeons, ship hands, There's ship hands, PvP, contracts, dailies. I guess people find dailies fun. It's weird. They'll all help you in being a badass. And always remember, don't stand in the red.